Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take that huge stack of information you have, articles, research, notes.
And we try to make sense of it all.
Exactly. We distill it down into the insights you can actually use. And today, we're tackling a ritual that, well, almost everyone takes part in.
Oh, yeah. Whether they admit it or not.
Right. New Year plans, New Year's resolutions. We're going to dive into the psychology of why they feel so important and, maybe more critically, how to make them stick.
It really is the ultimate annual reset button. Our mission today is pretty specific. We're pulling out the most actionable strategies from your sources on goal setting.
So really looking at the nature of motivation, right?
Right. The fragile nature of motivation, the role fear plays in all this, and I think most importantly, how to build consistency through really, really small steps.
It's about finding out why we fail every year, so maybe this year we can finally break that cycle.
Let's hope so.
I found the whole framing of the new year in the sources just incredibly compelling. We know, intellectually, that time is a continuous line.
There's no actual break.
No break at all between December 31st and January 1st. But emotionally, culturally, it feels like this profound fresh start, a new chapter.
And that psychological effect is so key. In the literature, they have a term for it. A temporal landmark.
A temporal landmark, okay.
Yeah, it's any point in time, a birthday, the first of the month, but especially the new year, that kind of breaks the flow of our memory. It gives us the feeling of a clean slate.
So it lets us mentally push away our past failures.
It does. It makes our goals feel more achievable right now, in this moment.
But doesn't that also create this immense pressure? You're setting yourself up with this huge expectation for a total transformation,
Yeah.
and then you just crash by January 15th.
That's the tension.
Yeah.
That is exactly the tension. The sources are really clear that the energy you get from a fresh start is, well, it's a double-edged sword. It's fantastic for getting started, for that initial push.
Yeah.
But it also encourages us to pick these huge, completely unsustainable goals.
I'm going to become a totally different person this week.
Precisely. It gives us the feeling of a clean slate, but without the realistic planning that's actually needed to, keep it clean.
We even see that in how people celebrate. Some people need that high-energy party with music and crowds.
Yeah, chasing that feeling.
While others just want a quiet, reflective night at home. And the sources really emphasize that there's no right or wrong way to do it.
I think that's so important to hear. It removes that pressure to perform, to celebrate in a certain way. If you need quiet to process the year, that's valid.
And if you need a party to just put a cap on it and move on, that's fine too.
Exactly. It's about finding the state of mind that lets you genuinely feel that transition.
Speaking of transitions, that moment at midnight,
Yeah.
it always has this unique magic to it, doesn't it? I remember as a kid, staying up late watching the clock.
That shared anticipation.
Yes. It creates this powerful collective marker. It's the official end of one story and the beginning of the next. And that's the feeling we try to bottle up for our plans.
You just have to use that energy wisely. So let's talk about the plans themselves.
Yeah.
The things you want to do, big or small. Learning a skill, taking a trip, or just, improving some daily habits.
This is where things go wrong right away, isn't it? Structuring the plans. The sources make this critical distinction between a vague wish and a simple, clear action.
The difference is everything. A general plan is an outcome. It's abstract. A clear plan is a process. It's something measurable you can do right now.
It's like you wouldn't just say, I want to be smarter. That doesn't mean anything.
Right. You define the process. I will read 2 articles on this topic before I start my workday.
The sources have a perfect example with learning English. The general goal, the outcome, is, I want to improve my English.
Which sounds great, but it's totally passive. It gives you no starting point, and that mental load just leads to putting it off.
So what's the conversion? How do you make that actionable?
You have to distill it into something non-negotiable and repeatable. So instead of that vague wish, it becomes, I will use this specific app for 10 minutes every day.
Or, I will listen to 1 English podcast on my commute. Simple. Clear.
And you notice how small those are. 10 minutes. 1 podcast.
Right. The power isn't just in the clarity, it's in the small size. It turns this huge, intimidating mountain into a tiny, manageable first step.
And that's the immediate insight for you, the learner. A simple, clear plan removes the decision-making if you don't have to decide what to do or when to do it.
You're just so much more likely to actually do it.
You've already made the decision, you just have to execute.
But here's the problem we all run into. We make that plan, we feel great, we make these serious commitments to ourselves, and then a few weeks later, the excitement is gone. We hit that wall.
And this is where we need the reality check from the research. Hitting that wall is not a personal failure. It is statistically and psychologically completely normal.
That's actually really comforting to hear.
It is, because it helps you fight that immediate sense of shame that makes you want to quit entirely.
So let's unpack the two big roadblocks the sources point to. The first one is a bit surprising. It's fear.
We think it's laziness, but so often it's just worry that paralyzes us.
That little voice in your head.
What if I fail? What if I put in all this effort for nothing? But here's the fascinating counterargument from the source material. That fear is not a stop sign.
What is it then?
It's a signal that the goal is actually really important to you. If you didn't care about it, you wouldn't be afraid of failing at it.
So the fear is proof that it matters.
Exactly. You have to reframe it. If you feel that fear, it means you're on the right track. You're aiming for something meaningful.
Okay, that's a powerful reframe. So what's the second roadblock? This one's more familiar.
The loss of motivation. We treat motivation like it's the fuel that keeps the engine running, but it's really just the spark that starts it.
And sparks, by their nature, don't last long.
They don't. Motivation is that initial hit of excitement. It's often tied to novelty. But our brains are built for efficiency. Once something isn't new anymore, that excitement fades.
So relying on motivation is like relying on an emotion that's guaranteed to disappear.
It's a fleeting emotion, which is why you need something more reliable.
And that's where the sources bring in this really robust idea of discipline.
Right. And not discipline in the sense of punishing yourself or using brute force willpower. That's a finite resource.
So what is it?
Discipline, in this context, is the system you build beforehand. It's doing the thing even when the feeling isn't there. It's what you rely on when motivation has gone on vacation.
Okay, so discipline isn't me, in the moment, fighting the urge to watch TV instead of reading.
Yeah.
Discipline is me, the night before, putting the book on my pillow so it's the easiest possible thing to do.
That is the perfect synthesis. It's about engineering your environment. You're making the right path, the path of least resistance. That's what turns a one-time action into a reliable habit.
Okay, this is great. Let's use this idea of discipline systems and shift into the practical strategies, the things you can actually do to make progress stick this year.
The first piece of advice is fundamental, and it sounds almost too simple, but it's to start small. I mean, incredibly small.
This flies in the face of that new year, new me idea.
It completely does. We have to resist that urge to overhaul our entire lives in 1 week. Instead, think about the psychology of a tiny step.
Like instead of planning to study for an hour,
Plan for 5 minutes or 10. Why? Because a tiny step is easy to do, and even more importantly, it's easy to repeat.
and that repetition is what actually builds the habit in your brain. Plus, if I plan for 5 minutes and I do it, that's a win.
It's an immediate win, and often you'll find you just keep going for 20 minutes anyway.
So it's about lowering the barrier to entry.
It is. The sources talk about something called the Zeigarnik effect. It's the idea that our brains remember unfinished tasks better than finished ones.
So by starting for just 5 minutes,
You've officially started the task. You've opened the loop, and your brain is now more compelled to come back and finish it because the friction to start was almost zero.
so it's not about intensity, it's about building momentum.
Yeah.
But we're human, we're going to miss days.
Absolutely. Life gets in the way.
What happens then? Because that's usually where I give up.
And that's where the need for self-kindness comes in. But this isn't about being soft, it's a resilience strategy. The sources call it avoiding the all-or-nothing trap.
Oh, I know this one. I missed one day at the gym, so I'm a failure, and I'm never going back.
That's it, exactly. You break your perfect streak so you decide the whole system is broken.
When it's not.
Not at all. The powerful takeaway here is that missing one day doesn't mean anything. What matters is that you start again the next day.
It's about consistency over perfection.
Precisely. Your progress is a messy, squiggly line forward, not a perfect straight arrow. Once you accept that, one missed day loses all its power.
That flexibility is a great bridge to the final strategy the sources mentioned. Setting intentions instead of really strict commitments.
Yes. If a hard, measurable goal feels too scary and triggers that fear of failure, the intention model can be a huge help.
It sounds a little less stressful.
It offers psychological safety. A strict commitment is about the what and when, the metrics. An intention is about the why. It's a general direction you want to move in.
So instead of, I will write 500 words every single day at 8 p.m., which is very easy to fail.
Your intention might be, I want to be a more creative person than here. Or, I want to take better care of myself by prioritizing my rest.
I see. It's less about a specific test you can pass or fail and more about a journey.
Exactly. It allows for course correction. It encourages you to align your actions with your values without the crushing weight of a daily report card.
So you can use both, can't you? A broad, kind intention, supported by a few clear, tiny commitments.
You absolutely can. And as we start to wrap up this deep dive, it all comes back to that idea of reflection. Before the new year even starts, we have to look back.
Not just to celebrate the good stuff, but to really understand the whole story of the past year.
And we have to reinforce this viewpoint that every year has good days and bad days. And the source material really encourages us to see both as positive.
Because the hard times are where we grow.
Often, the struggle teaches us more profoundly than the easy times ever could.
So that's the synthesis. Progress isn't perfect, it's not a straight line, and that is okay. The real goal is to learn, improve, and just focus on taking those small steps forward.
Trusting that they will add up. Small steps, consistently taken, lead to big changes.
The power isn't in one massive change. It's in the tiny adjustments you make every day.
And just taking a moment to reflect and choose one simple, manageable thing to improve, that is already a huge head start for the year.
And this is where we turn it all back to you. We want you to take all this analysis and turn it into one single action.
So we're going to leave you with the one reflective question that underpins everything we've talked about.
Take a moment, think about your values, think about where you are right now, and then ask yourself this.
What is one simple thing you want to improve this year? Write it down.
That one small commitment to a single, simple, clear improvement, that is the foundation. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive,
Now go put this knowledge into action.
and we'll connect with you on the next one.